So this is our beginner guide for Nioh 3, but there will be advanced tips. I believe that even beginners have to know all the tips and tricks all together rather than doing a beginner only guide. This is going to help veteran players learn a lot and help beginners get started, and it'll be in between beginners and some advanced stuff throughout the video. So pay attention, bookmark it, rewind the tape. I promise you, you won't regret making sure you double watch. With that in mind, I want to just mention we're going to gradually introduce the game and then get you guys acclimated. There's a demo out right now, and hopefully you know enough about Nioh 3. It's an action adventure, open world ish, open areas, and it's very focused on combat, really amazing combat, to be honest with you. And I'm going to dive into a lot of key things just to get the ball rolling so people can know what they should or shouldn't do as you go forward. The game has a lot of functions, so if you're just a beginner, you can have fun and casually just play. And honestly speaking, that is the best way to go. I did a full playthrough. I have over 70 hours of the game, something like that. And counting, by the time this video comes out, I'll probably have even more. Okay. With that in mind, yes, you can easily get lost in the sauce and have a hard time learning. So we're going to kind of go through the simple things. Okay. If you're curious about me, how do I have 73 hours? Well, the developers, shout out to Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo, who hooked me up with a copy. As you see, I've been playing a lot of this game, and we're going to go through a bunch of different things that you might want to learn as you play. And the first thing to keep in mind is that you can just play it like an action adventure and not really worry about your gear and worry about most of the things in certain ways. And a lot of the hardcore players are like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I promise you, I can make this game easy for you. Okay. And I want to talk about what I'd experimented with on one of my playthroughs as somebody who is a veteran, but also plays casually a lot of games. So the first thing is that you will get to an open area right away in the first hour of playing the game. And in that open area, you're given freedom to just go throughout the whole map. And that'll be the first thing I'll recommend for casual fans who are new, beginners, or somebody who's just not hardcore practicing these combos and practicing these skills. Okay. So if you look at this map, I want to show you, this took me about 20 to 30 hours within 2 playthroughs of different characters. But as you can see, there's a lot in the world, and I mean a lot, that you'll be exploring and doing and figuring out as you go. And while I'm not going to go through every single thing, the point is there's fast travel points. I would say just fast travel to each of them to have them unlocked. And every single time you go, what you want to do is use your XP that you gain, go forward from there. So if I take something out, I can come to the fast travel point and easily level up my character right away. And yes, I'm level 99 on this account. Don't look at that number. But the point is, you want to store all your XP every time you get it by leveling up. You can reset this at any time, which I'm not going to do right now, but the L3 button is the button to do so. This is the first beginner guide, and this is common sense for those that know. And I know you can be like, what does that got to do with anything? Well, in the end of the day, if I want to make this game easy on myself, all I'm going to do is travel throughout the world, head over to the next one while I'm fighting some enemies. If they're too tough, they're very hard to kill, I'm just going to run away and move forward. Okay, this is the biggest tip that I want to give, because you can go through the whole map and never have a problem. Just kind of see what you can do, unlock a couple different upgrades, get some chests, find some secrets, end up in a castle, getting some XP, and running away if there's a big boss. Most of the time they let you run away if it's not story related. And this is a massive open world with tons of icons, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but that is the start. Okay, for the advanced players, the reason you're doing this, if you really want to try to max out, is not for that reason, but for the opposite reason. These enemies and these things will give you secret buffs that buff you up and take you to the next level, whether it's the chi, code, or every single kind of special collectible. You can get tons and tons of buffs in the game. And while this isn't going to be a guide through these blessings or anything like that, but as you can see right here, both of those are right here, and I can get different buffs to level up as I play. And this is going to help me stay alive for a beginner. So while the advanced players are doing it to be maximizing, beginners are going to be doing it strictly to go from there. At the same time, you're going to be unlocking very cool skill management, easy skills that are just going to buff you up. Things like extra deep defense. Everybody's going to want that. And you're going to get this as you go and you move forward. Another big one, well, two of them. One is the cores. These cores are nothing to think about. All you got to do is just beat the yokai and they will drop these. And these are very special abilities for you to buff yourself in a fight. And they can be extremely useful. Okay. And as you see right here, I have different kinds. One that debuffs the enemy, and then another one that gives me some type of protection. Okay. And you can keep on implementing whatever you want on here and make it your playstyle, right? Have fun with it as you go forward. All right. And we're not going to get into enhanced versions of this. The same things with the Guardians. These are another tool for an ability that you can use in the game. Okay. And now the key is you're going to get them by exploring. So if I just spent, 10 hours clearing this whole map, I can guarantee you I can beat the story later and be strong enough. Funny thing is, these are leveled. You can see recommended level 8, 6, 10, and so on, and it keeps getting higher. So that means you can just clear out the easiest area, go to the next one, and continue to develop your skills as you go forward. Okay. And so to me, this is the number one way to play and the biggest thing that you should do to start the game. Okay. There's another quick tip. And as you see right here, my character has some items. I'm going to hit the R3 on the PlayStation, but I'm not sure what it is on PC. I hit the button and it lets me auto select equipment. This is for people who are beginners and saying, hey man, I just want to put whatever on. And honestly, most of the game, you can do that. It's not until you get to the late game bosses where you're like, hey, I got to put on something specific. And this will auto equip all your gear. It'll give you the highest value. Okay. And you should be fine for the most part. All right. And that's how that goes. And that's for both characters you want to do that for, and you're good. Another big tip is right here for the weapons. Okay. This is a full guide on its own, but I'm going to kind of just ease it in before we go through the full rundown. So for example, I have dual weapons. My dual weapons have specific perks. Same with my single weapon. I got 2 axes, and then I got my buddy right here, the dragon. Okay. All of these have different references for stats. What does that mean? That means they scale with specific weapons. And how do I see that? I'm going to go right into my actual level up. And as I go up and down, it's going to show the highlighted weapons of which ones that I want to buff. Okay. Right now, I really like using certain weapons, but for you, you can just pick whatever you like. Experiment. These are all really good in different ways. Okay. So if I like the sword, it says heart, strength, and intelligence or sword. So out of these 3, I can start leveling them up. The trick with this system is going too high will not be worth it. There's a soft cap and hard cap. We're not going to go over that. I do want to mention it because it is something you need to learn. And then secondly, the specific scaling of that weapon. Okay, you can see right now I'm personally using the tons, which I actually love, some skill, some strength, and constitution. Constitution gives me health, which is important. And then we can go down the list in a minute. There's another guide going through stats and information that I'm going to have for you guys right away after this video. But the key here is buffing up your weapon while having constitution for health. And then from there, you might need a little stamina to run around. You might need a little bit of heart to recover your ki. And then the rest depend on the weapon. Okay. But keep that in mind as you level up and you go forward. Right. And if it's too hard, go ahead and turn on co-op. You can summon some visitors. You can become a visitor. There's anything and everything you can do. Right. It's up to you. Those are choices that work. Okay. Now I want to get into two characters. Yes, I have the samurai here. He's the one with the blue hair. And then I got the ninja with a little bit of red. Okay. The samurai, for example, has good deflects. And the ninja has better dodging. Okay. It's not that one is better than the other. It's your personal playstyle. This is what makes the game even more fun. You can decide, I want to dodge, I want to slide as a ninja, or you can say, I want to block and parry with the samurai. Those are choices. Okay. But I can tell you, I have fun with both. I pretty much beat almost the full game with both. I'm already tons of hours in. Now, that being said, they do have a lot of different ways to play when it comes to those things. And so mastering the parry is going to be the key if you're the samurai, because he can't dodge too crazy. As you can see, he's very low and he wastes a lot of stamina. Okay. As for the ninja, he doesn't use a lot of stamina and he's way more agile, super fast. Okay. So those are preferences and choices of what you should be doing. Now, I want you to keep in mind, again, the key part of this whole game when it comes to combat, figuring out what weapon you have. All right, so this weapon is one of my favorites. If I hit triangle, the heavy attack, he does that. And I have a combination that puts fire out, where I throw this and then I hit square and he'll do a fire attack, which is super good. And you can use that if that's what you want to do. Or let's say you want to be the samurai, you want to practice light attacks and then a heavy attack, or maybe a heavy attack into a light attack, depending on how you feel. You can see these are what they go. So practicing what the moves are, you know, and that's a choice on your personal play style, making sure you practice. Personally, I love all of it. I've been using all the weapons. So you're not going to go wrong. You can pick what you want. Another big factor is the stances. Okay. As I go, I'm going to be switching the stances. The high stance has heavy hitting, but it's very slow and it takes a lot of your stamina. Low stance allows me to do faster attacks and be more nimble with that. Medium is kind of like the well-rounded version where you're going to just hack and slash and you're good to go. And why is this important? Because as I do a combo, they want me to key pulse, which you see right here, the number one tool. And that's pressing R1 on the PlayStation. Got to do it perfectly timed so I can get the full stamina back. Your key will get back. Now there's another way, which is using stance switching. So as I do an attack, I can stance switch and it will do a key pulse as well with the skill that you unlock. You have to unlock that. And so this just makes it easier for you to go back and forth, do different combos. As I said, this is just a beginner guide. I'm not going to go through every combo in the game for each of the weapons on this video, but that's the thing. So just do that. Key pulse, practice key pulsing after a couple hits, whatever combo you like. you know, it's your favorite combo. This is it right here. 1-2 key pulse, right? 1-2 and then a heavy, and then key pulse. Okay, so I'm practicing those things as I fight. Boom, looks good. Slash down, key pulse. Everything has a key pulse to keep your stamina high as a samurai. On the opposite side, the ninja is mostly dodging, so he can't get his stamina back the same way. But if he hits R1 as well, when he unlocks the skill, he's capable of creating a mist, which also helps him recover. So if I do an attack and I hit R1, kind of throws a shadow, and the enemies attacking him will end up going. And I don't like fighting these bees, but we're going to use them as demonstration. Go and attack. Basically miss, because I'm trying to do the miss, but they're pretty much one shot. But the point is, it's the same kind of concept, but since you can't really keep pulse the same, it's a different method. So you want to do that and get used to it no matter what weapon you have. Figure out what combos, get really crazy, go hard. All right, that's the key. Now there's a bunch of different things like you see on my side right now. I have my heals, I have this blue charge. I could throw out a monster to attack enemies, that's mines. Those are things that you'll accumulate as you explore the world, and taking out a couple of enemies will give you those benefits. This is very key. You have to take the time and find these things, have fun with it. You really want to get creative and enjoy the game in a special way. Those are pretty much fundamentals. All right. Now I want to get into a couple of things. You see this right here is called Lesser Crucible. These are things that are must do's and the enemy camps, because you're basically nerfing the enemies, taking away their powers as you destroy these. Okay, so clear them out. It's going to be pretty easy, straightforward, and I'm not going to showcase every single one in the game, but those are critical. Now in this game, there's plenty of secrets, which it's up to you to do, but I'm going to talk about some extra secrets here. So you can easily find the beautiful HUD where you belong, right, in the game. And this HUD is so critical because there's plenty of things in here for you to do. You can change your character's look up there, appearance and outfit. For example, my outfit is this. If you're curious, you can do that right upstairs. Not rocket science, so we're not going to go through that. But on top of that, you have a way to forge and you can do upgrades. My biggest recommendation is do not waste any time in here on your first playthrough, okay, until you get late game. Practice everything I said in general and do all that. But if you waste all your resources at the start of the game trying to forge, you're going to have a problem. So I recommend not really worry, because you're going to waste all your resources until later on. You can disassemble things, because it's going to give you materials that you'll need to buff yourself up, and then you'll be good. But you're going to come into this HUD, you go get this pretty early on, and it's very good. And we're going to run through some things like the clan battles. This is one of the best things in the game as well. You can basically buff yourself up as you go forward. You see right here, just started playing, but hey, I'm getting up there in my crew, and we're looking pretty damn good if you ask me. And so if I want to donate, I can go ahead and spend some my actual items and buff myself up as well as I go. So those are the type of things you want to think about as you play the game. It's up to you on what you're feeling or you're thinking, but this is going to be critical for some special things that you can get in here. There's a lot of different tools for different reasons. Some of them are unique for the clan, and then others are in general. It's just something to have, something to do, and something useful when you play. There'll be side missions like training missions, which I can't showcase them right now because it's kind of spoiler on other things, but this is the spot. You want to visit it all the time It doesn't take very much to visit. Okay, you just go in from wherever you are, go into the map, and you'll be able to find it. And if I was to give you an example, you see on the left, it says hit L3 to go to eternity, which I'm not going to do right now, but it'll take me here, eternal rift. But this is very critical, and this is going to be the key to get started as you go forward. Now, don't get it twisted. There's plenty, and I mean plenty of different things for you in this game when it comes to options, but I want to go into a little deeper dive. This is going to drive you guys crazy. When you go into the actual skill tree, aka martial arts and ninjutsu, there's tons of weapons. You're going to only have 2 at a time, right? But you have your samurai. These are the first things you want to start unlocking, and things like the flex 1 and 2. Okay, this gives you a chance. With flex 1, you can do your key pulse and then switch stance, and then you're going to add increased recovery when you do that. Basically want to get this as high as humanly possible. These 2 right here are the most important for the samurai, and then of course stances as you go forward. And then there's a bunch of little different things in here that you're going to get naturally, like key pulse, and then you'll have other things you can do within here that you got to purchase, but those are the key. Okay, and it's the same thing with the samurai. He has simple stuff. Okay, this mist that I talked about, press R1, really nice transition for your next move. You can do it right after an attack, and it's kind of like a parry. That's his version of a parry. And there's other moves in here like ninjutsu, where you're throwing items at people. Very important to have at least one. You can basically stop someone's stamina and keep them down, like before they recover. As long as they're being hit, they won't recover. Okay, so pick one of the throwing, whatever you think is best. We're not going to go through the list right now of all that. And then keep those points in here as much as possible. Start experimenting. The cool part about all of these different things that I've already shown you, you can reset everything. Nothing is permanent when it comes to your skill points, XP, all that stuff. You can swap at any point. And I want to mention weapons, but don't really go crazy without having some of the ninja and samurai stuff. But when you do, you pick all the very cool martial arts and ninjutsu, of course, and put on whatever you feel is best for you and your playstyle. Okay, everybody has a different way they want to fight and all that cool stuff. But what's amazing is after I finish purchasing these, I can check them out right here. Let's just say I didn't want this fire, which of course I do, but the regular one that I had, or that I didn't have, I had to purchase, is the locust, regular locust. I just added the fire one because it does hardcore damage. So all of a sudden I buffed my move that was already good by purchasing it. And this is going to be key. You're going to come in here, and as you can see, I have all the skills. I'm trying to see which one I love more, or maybe situational. Maybe this is only good for certain situations, and then I'll change it up depending on what I'm doing. Okay, this is very critical. You're going to find a bunch of these with purchase of them. Okay, and that's pretty much the key thing. Now I want to take a moment just to talk about your build. We're not going to do a build today, but as I told you guys, the stats, the status for each of these and the numbers, the statistics are pretty straightforward. You want to have life, which is your health. You want to have ki to be able to have stamina, and then spirit force to be able to go hard with your spirit force elements. And then you have melee damage for 2 weapons, range attack. All of this plays a role, but the key thing that I wanted to point out is on the right. It says defense, toughness. Those are 2 big time important factors. You're gonna be fighting very extremely difficult enemies in the game. And if you sit here and don't put on the high defense or high toughness, they will one-shot you most of the time and you'll be in trouble, right? So put on the highest defense most of the time, and then toughness as well. And then as far as equipment weight, this is the only way for you to have agility. Okay, your equipment weight matters. So if you go up to 75 and so on, it's going to make you not be able to dodge well. You still can run. Running is always going to be the same, but the dodging is going to be very, very tough because you won't go too far and your whole stamina bar will be done with one dodge or two. And so you want to keep it green, okay? Keep it as green as you can, you know, and then you're good to go. Right? Other than that, there are other things that you might want to pay attention to later on, like resistance to different elements. I'm fighting a boss with electricity coming up, lightning, and I'm going to be using that for him. But those are the details when it comes down to it. This is my current play setup that I have and all the information that you need. It's really not that complicated. I know this is kind of more advanced conversations, but if I go to the skill tree, it doesn't take much to do most of this. I'm going to go and level up whatever I like. Okay. Health. I want some more strength for more DPS. And then there's another thing called titles. This is one of the most critical things that's basically prestige for you to level up and really go hard. These are also not permanent. So right now I have a little bit of melee attack key and then a little bit of martial arts key. So this is just me buffing myself in different ways, and I can choose from my samurai, my ninja, and all the different things, and I can reset these. Okay, and you're gonna get these points just by being in there doing some work, and you'll get them, and then you want to consistently buff them up to the max every chance you get. Okay, it's going to be very critical. Okay. Locked in. All right, so then after all that, some settings, I'm not going to go through them all, but as you start playing and you get at least to the second part of the game, the bigger next map, you want to do this right here is what I have. Soul extractions allow you to take things, the soul part of those items, and then you're going to basically extract it. Then you're going to dismantle and get rid of them. Okay. Personally, uncommon is what I would do for the first 20 hours of the game. Not even. Wait until you get 20 hours in. You get 2,000 plus slots on your inventory, but this is a key thing that's going to make life easier. I have it on rare right now because I'm already, you know, pretty much end game. And then there's a whole lot of settings. I'm not going to go through it. You might want to rewind and slow this down, but there's plenty there to figure out and to go forward with. Those are some key things. Now I want to kind of mention about my play style and something that I found to be very useful. Pick whichever character you want to get really familiar with and use them the most at the start. But there's going to come a moment where a boss does a red attack and you have to swap to defend. That swap makes it so you have to know the combination of the player you're going to play. So it's very good to have something like I just did right there, where I did my light, heavy, and he does the spin attack. That's what I'll use anytime I have to swap from my ninja playthrough that I'm doing on this. Swap. Boom. Okay. And so having that in your forte and you're able to understand the weapon a little bit, I keep coming back to that because this is one of the biggest ego problems is people don't want to practice. People don't want to put the time in. If you're watching this video, no YouTuber is going to make you better. You're going to make yourself better. You have to put in the time. You got to put in the energy. And this goes for real life and in the game. Put the work in. Believe in you. You can do it. Okay. That being said, there's plenty of other things like combat and specific builds and different information that I can do on another video, but this one is done. So I appreciate your time, your energy. If I earned your like, subscription, and all that good stuff, thank you. Stick around, leave a comment. All right. Subscribe. See you on the next one. We out of here. Peace and love.